And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Tracer Around Podcast. A tracer round is a type of ammunition designed to help visually track the path of rounds fired. Tracers show where you need to adjust or redirect fire. Join Army veteran Sergeant First Class Terry Lynch for Tracer Rounds, the first ever podcast of its type. Whether it be military, music, sports, politics, education, relationships, or gender issues, no target is off limits or out of bounds. Are you on target? Does your fire need to be recalibrated? Whether you adjust fire or fire for effect, tune in to Tracer Rounds, where the range is always open and there are rounds going down range.
Hi, you're at Tracer Rounds, and I've got a guest with me tonight. I've got MJ, and she's with the World of Conscious Positive Thinking. I really had to look that up so I didn't mess it up. So I'm really happy and fortunate to have her in studio with me, or I'm in studio with her, I guess, actually, is what the case is. But I had a chance to meet up with her this weekend, and I got to visit her business. And so I want her to tell us about her business. But first, I'd like to talk about your military service.
Sure.
I want to know what branch you were in and what you served, what job you served in,
Sure.
and just a little bit about that, if you will.
Sure. I was in the United States Air Force. I went in through guarantee and as a college expense for Colorado Springs, except I didn't go to Colorado Springs because Ronald Reagan at the time needed air traffic controllers. And so I got pushed through without going into Colorado Springs. So I went directly to Biloxi after, and I was assigned for the 2069 COM Special Task Force of Strategic and Tactical Missions in the deserts.
So how did you like that job? I mean, like,
I did.
Was it stressful? I mean, what was your role? Was it typically like managing a flight line, or was it a little bit different?
So, no. So basically I was TSC, mobility, and basically our missions were war games. So we would control all of the aircrafts in their groupings as if it was wartime, and we would go and we would practice dog fightings. We would practice controlling the masses of planes. So like you would have, Viper come on, and it'd be Viper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And next thing you know, you had 100 Vipers, or you had, and it was crazy. At one point, I remember tagging on the EART screen probably over 1,000 different aircraft at different flight levels, at different patterns, playing, not playing, but simulating strategical and tactical missions in order for them. So once they go out into that center, then we kind of just waited. but we had to get them all out there. But we had to watch because we always had to control traffic, right? We had to keep them abreast. So that's kind of what we did. Then plus I was able to do comp trolling that was towards the end of my career. I got to be able to jump to align flight patterns. So I would come out and I would be the one dig the hole to help get the actual runways for, the VHUHs or whatever AV8s, whatever we were using at the time, so that they could come in and then do their job. So we would set up our EART system in our runways, so we would practice those getting up.
Wow. That sounds like a pretty difficult job, pretty tedious, and pretty like you had to be on your game all the time.
Well, if you're good at Galaga, you'd be good at those ERs. You're having a job.
I was all right at it. I had one in my house for a while. So.
Yeah.
So you were medically discharged from the service.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about that? And the only reason I want to touch on that is because I think it relates to your
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wanted to touch on why maybe you.
So if you listen to my shows, if anybody out there, it's going to be a repeat. But I was used on a mobility TSC. And one evening, we were gathered and we were taken out. And we were asked to roll up our sleeves. And I got an inoculation, which was an experimental inoculation. And at that point, my body just went downhill very quickly. And I got the Air Force Achievement Medals. I got all kind of medals for it. And I got discharged honorably. And then what ended up happening is I ended up with over a 250% total and permanent disabled with auto and neuroimmunity. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I had a chance to go to your shop. I'm going to let you tell the name and tell about it. But I got a chance to go and meet you there. And I just kind of want to know how you got started in that line and how it related to maybe getting your health back.
Yes. So basically I struggled. And every time you turned around being autoneuromune, one of your lymphatic organs goes down, whether it be the liver, the heart, the kidney, the spleen, whatever. It was always something. I was always battling. And of course, the medical science of the VA was push the pill, push the pill, push the pill. I woke up it was awful because whatever the injection was, and we still don't know to this day, but whatever it was that was mutated in live that they stuck in us, I have a doctor by the name of Dr. Nancy Klimas, who is a beta doctor through Nova, and the VA in Miami hired her. I struggled all the way up until probably about 2009. 2009 was a very troubling time in my life because I struggled. I would be healthy at one moment and living life, making money. And then the next thing you know, I'd come out and be down in a wheelchair, almost like an MS. And I would not be able to walk from like my G10 level down. I would be incontinent. And it was like every eight months to a year, I would catch a cold, or I would catch some type of bacteria. Any trauma to the body would set it off like an MS and just push me right back down in that wheelchair. So 15, I woke up and I felt very surreal. I felt like I was going to die and I couldn't, I was tunneled. I had this one drip of sweat and it was hard to catch my breath. It was hard to even speak of how I was feeling at the moment. I came out and I took my blood sugar. Of course, with everything else with auto and neuroimmune, I was type 2 diabetic with, that was just one of the complications of, and my blood sugar was 508. Wow. 508.
Wow. That's crazy.
I literally looked and I was sat there shaking. I was so upset. I was, I swore that day I was going to heal myself, and it wasn't going to be with the VA, and it wasn't going to be with medical sciences, and it was going to be total faith and total Father, Mother, God, and they were going to heal me with whatever the earth has as far as roots, leaves, trees, anything. And I started the journey. In fact, to the point where I was on some serious meds. I was on some serious heart meds, cancer meds. 2009, actually in 2004, is when they realized that whatever the live injection was had cancers. And those traces were found through PET scans. And so they started just every time they saw this calcification that had the cancers in them, they would open me up and they would remove it. I denied chemos. I denied radiations. I did take Xeloda, not Xeloda. Yeah, Xeloda, whatever it was called. I took about 30 days of it, and it started to lose my hair, and I was like, this ain't happening. So then they took out my colon, then they took out my breast, then they took out, they did 3 surgeries on my kidney. So I look like a real big train wreck here. So if you're on B&O Railroad or you're on Pacific Railroad, let me just tell you, this is the MJ Railroad right here, right? And you will not get your $200 for pass again. But anyway, so I did this whole journey of putting my body back in homeostasis, and I did the best that I could to come off all those drugs, because the only way to cure the body was to do that. And so I started with CBD. That was the simplest thing. And I started taking that as I started to wean off all these drugs. One of the drugs for the heart, it was hard. It took me about 15 months to come off of it.
Wow.
During this whole process, I owned a holistical store. I was also a reverend, and I was also a Reiki master at the time. So I would do all these just EFT tappings. I would get down into my chakra roots. I would get down into the patterns of the metaphysical. And I actually balance. Somebody told me I have to balance the metaphysical to the physical. I have to come with a positive, higher vibration. And I started. At 28, I knew I was special with my spiritual realities and my clairs. And then I started. And one of the things that Dr. Klimas told me to do was infrared saunas and the salt cave. So at my crystal metaphysical store, my holistic store, I had the infrared. And then the other store that you were in is my Himalayan salt cave. That salt comes from Pakistan, comes from a mile below the surface, has 84 trace minerals. It's antifungal, antimicrobial, and antibacterial. So I felt like if it can handle that, and I'm breathing that in, and I'm also breathing in negative ionizations to raise up my alkalinity of my body, I can destroy everything that's not good in that body. And that's where the salt cave came in. That's really where that helped me. Actually, in COVID, so I came off all of them, and then my remissional stages in and out of the wheelchair became fewer and fewer. That's awesome. My kidney started after about 69 kidney stones. My freaking kidney started to acting good, and my life started to turn around. I mean, it turned so far around that during COVID, I didn't wear a mask. Auto and neuroimmune, I didn't wear a mask.
Wow.
I went into the infrared the first day, and I went into the salt cave the next day. You can't do both in the same day because it's too many drastic colds and hots for the body. And that's how I did. And I literally beat the system until May of 2021. My mother turned 80 years old, and I decided we're going to go, right? We're going to go to Pennsylvania. We're going to do this. And the minute I stepped out of all of my therapies, because I didn't have them up there, I got COVID.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. The VA wanted to immediately put monoculars in me, start the freaking shit. Oh my God, I didn't mean that. But I did mean it. I did.
We'll just erase that.
I did. Big Pharma, you suck. I did mean it. So they wanted to, and I said I denied it. They said I was high risk. They want to put me in an intensive care unit, and I denied it. I actually ripped the IV out of my arm, asked for my papers, and away I went. Yep, I have faith. I have faith in God that whenever my will would be done, my will would be done. But it was not going to take me, because I knew somehow my life purpose and my soul purpose now had to do something. And my soul purpose was to allow people to know you can heal yourself. You can do it, and you can get off those meds. And I don't care what kind of meds you have, you can come off of them. And that soul cave means the world to me. I do a lot with supporting groups, counseling, supporting groups. And I am now the Reverend of Light, and I'm a light therapy Reiki master therapist. So what do? I tap into the unconscious mind, and I work with a lot of psychologists in the area who can't get through to their patients, and I flip it. I turn it around and I flip it for them. So once that happens, and we flip that belief pattern, they start evolving with cellular data, different things, and they start raising that vibration. Anybody who has a core frequency of a 48 or lower, you are sick. You need help. You need to raise that core body. That's the biggest thing, is raising our core body frequency above a 48 hertz. And you will never be sick. You can get that up to about a 58 or a 60. You're good. You are very good. And you will heal that body. But most people who have cancers, especially cancers, their body core frequency is below a 48 hertz. And that's really low. The body can't function its immune support system.
And the name of your business is?
Esmeralda's Salty Air Retreat.
And where is it at?
It is located just south of Miami, by Cutler Ridge. They call it Goulds in that area, but you can say Cutler Ridge, Florida. And it is in a very old historical district. And the building that it's in is so ironic because ancient remedies cured people, and that building is over 100 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that old.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We did a we did a recorded podcast in your salt cave.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, when I came out of it, I felt so centered and I felt so at ease, and I felt like the cares of the world had just dropped away.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the smell from like my hair for the rest of the evening was so good.
You're
I was like, wow,
what's the
I don't
beach?
think I need to. Yeah. I was like, I don't think I need to wash my hair. I like this.
To get the suntan,
Right.
but I smell like the beach.
Right. Yeah. So I would suggest it for anybody that just needs a place to kind of come and refresh their mind and their spirit, just to kind of sit in there for an hour or so. They have yoga classes, and you have what other classes?
There's all kind of facilitators that come in, but there are all types of people who come in for grounding ceremonies, singing bowls, sound journeys, shaman journeys. They teach all types of chakra classes, pendulum classes. They even do, I did a personality matrix class, because a lot of people don't even know what their personality matrix are, or those around them. So how do we balance, and how do we understand without ego and judgment what they're going through in life? So they're the kind of classes that we give. They're very positive for people to move in a very non-egoic, non-judgmental way.
Well, we had a couple comments too that come up, and Amber said that she felt like you were talking about her, like that was her situation. And so she felt like you were just kind of
stick in it, Amber, stay in it. Stay in it.
She was just saying that she felt like she had all those same struggles, and that a lot of those things she heard you say were relevant to her. Yeah. So let's see. Do we have any other comments? Yeah, they're saying we're looking good on TikTok, so that's good.
I love we're looking good.
Hi, TikTok.
Hello, TikTok.
So you do some work with veterans. Can you tell me what you do for them?
Yep, we have. I either do one-on-one with veterans when they have their blocks, or they have their episodes of anger with PTSD, and I walk them through it. I have circles at the cave for them to come in and just kind of open up in general. And we get into, and one of the biggest things with the vets is guilt. They have guilt and fear. And when I try my hardest to get them to flip, it depends on how deep. And if it's that deep, then I tell them we need a one-on-one. We need to do interpretation.
We'll finish that thought when we get back from break. Big Riz, you want to take us to break?
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, pay the ultimate price. He was the man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. He's Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Lay down, hear the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on these front lines. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, he'll pay the ultimate price. Lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. March in line, march in line. Hey. Hey.
Hey, welcome back to Tracer Rounds with my guest, MJ, who is the owner of Esmeralda's Salty Retreat. And she's also a fellow podcaster on the world of conscious positive thinking. We do have a question that came in, and so we want to hurry and touch on that from Amber Into the Weeds, who also has a podcast here on MBR. And she's asking, what do you think about ketamine and psilocybin PTSD treatments the VA is offering? What do you think about those, MJ? Have you had any experience with those?
Okay. It's going to be rough here. I'm not going to lie. I think that if you use psilocybin, your better choice is lion's mane. I believe that to be 100%. I also believe that if you have to use these types of medicines, then find some help with electromagnetic therapy treatments, because you can turn all of your unconsciousness or all of those things, you can turn them around. It's a neuron in the brain that they're trying to dim out. Psilocybin on a microdose level will help connect those neurons from suppressing those images or those things. But we have to make one thing very clear. You have to let it go, okay? PTSD, the bottom line with all of us, is you have to honor what you did with no guilt, no fear. And then you have to understand that today you are safe. Today you are loved. And today you stood for the most highest thing that you could possibly stand for. Get it in your head first. Conscious, positive thinking. Get it in your head first. If I have to sit there and go like this, right? Then we do it. EFT tapping. I understand what I have done, but it is okay because I have been here. And you hit the meridian points all the way down. You hit them. Ketamine, I wouldn't do. Psilocybin, I've done with lion's mane for neurons. But you have to microdose the psilocybin, because if you stay in a world of unconsciousness, which is what most of these drugs make us do, which is why most of us have some form of addiction, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, something, right? But my addiction, M&M, food. I'm a food junkie, right? Because that's where I turn to my addictions. I turn to peanuts and M&Ms. So for me, that's where it is. So whatever way, form that you can say, I am at peace, but it wouldn't be, my choice would not be big pharma. And I would make sure that microdosing on the psilocybins is used with lion's mane, cordyceps, and king trumpets. Okay. And anybody who's asking about psilocybin, you know what I'm saying about the cordyceps and lion's mane. They're mushrooms, right? That's where it comes from. So psilocybin can have an adverse effect if taken too much. It'll put you right back in there in what they call a Maya illusion. And when you come into a Maya illusion of that is no good, because you're gonna relive it, and you're gonna feel like you are right there in that dimension again. I don't want you to relive it. I don't want to relive it. I want to know it's there. It happened. It's not happening today. It happened a long time ago. And now guess what? I am safe. I am sound. And that is not going to happen. Yep. Do we wear the uniform? It's hard to take it off. It is. Yeah. It's really hard. And my heart hurts for all of us who has that trauma, because I can't imagine being on that front line. I know what it was like just in the dog war games in the desert. And I understand that I saw death just there. And I was part of actually hurting somebody in war games, not even in real war. So my heart hurts. And if I could just heal one person, my life purpose and my soul purpose is done. My life purpose was that soldier to learn. My life purpose was to heal these bodies. And now my soul purpose is to find so many people that I can help in just the most simplest forms, that I don't have ego and judgment of our governments or our pharmaceutical companies or big pharma to say, you have to no, get the hell out of here. If you believe in the Christ I am, Jesus Christ light, Father, Mother, God, he made the tree. He made the tree, man. He didn't make the chair. He made these beautiful plants to heal a part of our body. And when we realize that, we're free. We are free. We're free from everything. We're free from any judgment and ego that anybody wants to put on us. We're even ourselves, self-love first. And this is a big part of PTSD. Loving ourselves first, without guilt, without anger, without resentment, without saying, I missed out. I didn't get to. No, you're right. You didn't get to, but guess what? They got to. So we're not giving to us. We're giving to everybody, right? So in life, are you a self-giver? Are you a giver for all? Well, to be in the highest form of that entangled pattern that I called our soldiers and warriors, our Knights Templars, then you're giving to all. And how dare any one of us, including ourselves, say that we have guilt, fear, or any type of resentment? No, baby, I don't. I don't regret. I don't resent. I don't do any of that. And that's where that comes in. That's where grounding in the cave comes in. That's where getting to be able to sit with stones that are a mile below the surface and has 84 trace minerals, and knowing that every breath I'm taking is negative ionization, man, you feel like a new person, and you get to relieve yourself of any stressors of life. And that is the most beautiful thing in the world for most people, because they can't do it. They don't have a spot to do that. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, Amber said that she grows lion's mane mushrooms.
Yay, Amber, I love you. You go, Amber.
Yeah. So we've got just a couple minutes before a break, but I wanted to ask, what do you think somebody could do if they can't come to Miami to be in a salt cave? What's the next best thing for them?
Okay. So 2 things. Our salt does a lot of different things. Himalayan salt. And make sure if you go to Walmart, Target, Marshalls, Ross, you go to these places, you ask them for the authenticity paperwork, and you need to make sure it's coming from Pakistan. If it doesn't come from Pakistan, it's probably not real. Okay, that's the first thing. There's something called Himalayan rock lamps, not Himalayan salt lamps, Himalayan rock because they look like a big rock, a big orange rock. If you go to these places, I'm not going to tell you to lick it, but that's how, I mean, in my case, yep, it's real.
Yeah, it's
so, but what they do in China and in Japan and Czechoslovakia, they take crumbles of Himalayan salt, like where they chunk them out, they put them in resin, and then they pour the resin out, stick the light bulb in it, and then call it a Himalayan salt lamp. And they're allowed to because it is Himalayan salt inside the resin, but it's not going to give you the negative ionizations that you need. So you need to have a negative ionization lamp by your bed on with a heat lamp bulb in it. So it's the contracts of the cold and the heat that give you the negative ionization. You can go to the grocery store, look in the spice aisle, and look up for organic Himalayan salt. It shouldn't say, it doesn't matter if it says organic, it just needs to make sure it's not a processed salt or it's actually coming from Pakistan. They're the two main things. When you have the salt, now what you do is you kind of come home. You can bathe in it. So if you want, you can go ahead and put it in your tub and you can get that same healing powers by bathing in it.
Okay, we'll finish that thought when we come back from break.
Okay.
Too big, wanting to grow up way too quick, searching for spotlights since I was 6. Hello, my name is Dream Too Big. Hello, my name is way too loud. My voice can cut right through a crowd. God make fun of for it, but who's laughing now? Hello, my name is way too loud. I know I've had my moments and I've had heartaches. God is making miracles out of my mistakes. You can say I won't make it, and I can tell you that I don't really care. 'Cause hello, my name is going somewhere. Far. Lost all my words in a mason jar. Locked eyes with a stranger at the end of the bar. Hello, my name is You'll Go Far. Well, hello, my name is One More Try. I put too much stock in bad advice, 'cause anything worth leaving is worth loving twice. You're never gonna leave the ground. You can tell us all about it when you come back around. Hello, my name is Get Knocked Down. Hello, my name is Stand Back Up. Keep moving even when it gets rough. I've given so much, but I ain't giving up. Hello, my name is Stand Back Up. I know I've had my moments and I've had heartaches, but God is making miracles out of my mistakes. You
Hi, welcome back to Tracer Rounds with my special guest, MJ. And she is also a fellow podcaster on the World of Conscious Positive Thinking.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is.
I
it
know.
is.
You'll never
It
forget it once you get it.
I know, right? And MJ was talking about addictions, and I have to tell you that video that just played, Lauren Rose's boots in that video. I've got boot envy. I need those boots. I've got a boot addiction, so I'm just putting it out there.
Tell them how many pairs you got.
I have like 25. I have too many. I know. But you gotta have one for each
M&Ms
outfit.
or boots. You take
Right?
your pick, Terry.
Well, at least the boots, I can walk off the M&Ms and the peanuts. So there we go. We gotta have a trade-off. So we were talking a little bit about how a person would introduce like salt therapy into their space if they don't have a facility near them, or they can't come to Miami and enjoy yours.
Right. So we talked about the lamps. Make sure they're from Pakistan. Make sure they're on. Put them by your bed or put them wherever you are more than 8 hours in a day, because and you don't want to be talking. So that's why the bedroom is so good, because when we sleep, what you need to do is you need to breathe that in, hold it, and breathe out. And if you watch somebody sleep, they take big, deep breaths in, they hold it, and they slowly let out air. So that's the best place to put them. Actually, it's for the negative ionization air. Our bodies are very positive ionization. And that positive ionization means we're very acidic. We are susceptible to viruses. We're susceptible to diseases, bacteria, infections. So when we breathe negative ionizations in, raises our alkaline level. It's almost like putting a drop of water in a mosquito-infested little pond and watch them all kind of like go away because they can't live in it. And so our area, when we raise that, nothing can live in it. So it helps us put our body back in homeostasis. Go to the grocery store, go in there and look for Himalayan salt in the spiced area. Instead of buying regular ionized salt, buy Himalayan salt. You can buy a brick, a big Himalayan brick, and you can cook your meat on that. Just watch your recipes, because some of the recipes have sodium and then it's really too salty. But I do moose meat, I do venison. I do more game meat because they're not inoculated. So I do a lot of gaming. And so I throw all types of steaks on there, scallops on there, shrimp on there. That's really good for sushi if you like sushi. Or you can get the ones that have like a grinder, the granules. So you can go and get a big bag of them. Even you go on Amazon, buy like a 10-pound bag of high quality pink salt. Make sure it says high quality Himalayan. Make sure it's from Pakistan. And then you can use that. If you get sick, the best thing, you stick 2 cups of water and you stick 1/3 of a cup of Himalayan salt. Let it boil till you start seeing the little pokes of salt in the boiled water and the steam. Turn it off, take a towel, cope it, just breathe it in until all that steam goes away. And you watch how quick you clean up. Now, there's another trick that I do, and it's not Himalayan salt, but when I do that and I am sick, eucalyptus, but no carrier oil. Straight eucalyptus essential oil, put a drop on each, and then twirl it into your nostril holes and breathe that with the salt. I promise you, you'll breathe, and I promise you, you'll feel better in no time, because the Himalayan salt will kill any particle that's in there.
Wow.
There you
That's
go.
a lot of information. I'm thinking I need to have her back, because I think she's teaching me something today, or taught me a lot all weekend, let me just say. So I appreciate her. So do you have any plans for any new businesses on the horizon?
We are. In fact, my house went into contract. Our little remote today is in my house here in the Redlands, and it went into contract, and I'll be moving. And the reason I'm leaving is the dark nights of the soul have pushed me out of some of my my companies here, so that I can follow my soul's journey and opening up a healing retreat. What's happening is what I'm seeing, especially not so much with my vets, but overall people who are going through traumatic events or suffrage of any of their chakras or their health. They're coming, they're feeling good. I spend the time with them and they're great. And then the next day I'm talking to them, they're not so great. And then the following day, they're really not good. And what's happening is we get triggers of these events or these patterns, And then we go to somebody to help us, right? A counselor, a therapist, whatever it is. And what happens? We go straight back into that energy. You're not giving your body time to process or to heal or to tell the ego, get out. Not even get out, get the flip out, right? Get out. Because it's our ego trying to make us suffer. And so if I could open up a retreat, 1, 3, 5, 7-day retreat up on top of the mountain with electromagnetic therapy, we are going to heal the body through spiritual surgeries, through therapies of electromagnetics, and whatever other devices that we need to make sure that we flip that body into a healthy body and a conscious mind. So, yep, I'm on that journey, and it's happening, and it's like, holy crap, because it just happened 2 days ago that the house sold. So my house is a little bit boxy right now with stuff all over, but we have until the 28th, and then we're moving north. So, and that will be open. Hopefully the property that we're going to be getting is quite a bit of acreage so that we can take trails. There's a process called Shinrin-yaku, and it is the process of walking in the woods to heal. And you have certain trees that the air quality of those trees actually turn some of our neurons and some of our cells into healthier cells, just like the salt cave. So it's quite apropos, right? I'm going from, and I'll have a salt cave up there. I like building them, and I like being in them, and I don't want to lose the one here. So I'll be a snowbird because I don't like really snow. Did that when I was younger, didn't have a choice. But after I left the snow, it's kind of like, I kind of like this warm weather. So April through the end of December, I'll be north, and December through April, I'll be here.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to give a quick plug too to Lauren Rose. She will be on Big Griz's show coming up in the next couple of weeks. So just keep your eye out for that. But we've been playing her music here on MBR, and she's a really new up and coming talent, and we really want to see her succeed.
Sure.
So she'll be on a show. So just watch for the show information to come out pretty soon. But I did want to ask you too, MJ. What do you get from veterans when you're helping them, and what do they get from you? What is the trade-off there? Because I know
get hugs. We love to hug, and I love to hug on the heart side. So it's a balance. When I treat them, if a couple of my first 2 episodes, it's in my heart. These brothers and sisters of arms, I would do anything to flip that pattern. Anything. Whatever I had to do for them, I would do. And that to me is the service to others. And that's what I am. I'm a reverend to service to others. I'm a therapist to service to others. It's my sole purpose, is a service to others. And I can't be more thankful for the most divine gifts that I've been given and the chances that I've been given to follow my path and my life purpose and my soul purpose.
Yeah, I can tell. She's very passionate about helping people in general, but veterans specifically.
Yeah.
You also talked about another therapy that you do with them, and it's music. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So I have, where does the frequency of music hit you? Most of our traumas, just like a PTSD, we suppress, right? Our skeletal closets, we call it, is our solar plexus, right? In our guts. That's why most people who have PTSD always have gut issues, or they suppress them. And so music is one of those things that if it's not the tone of the music, or it's not the frequency of the music, it has to be the words in the music where we hold patterns. And we can either hold beautiful, happy patterns, or we can hold very events by music, and we're like, oh, turn it off. I hate that song. Well, why do you hate that song? What is it about that song that you hate? Or what is it about that song that you love, right? Mm-hmm. People who need a quick jolt of energy, whistle, hum. These frequencies of those whistles or hums actually create a centrifugal force from Earth, and they do the electromagnetic. We are all electromagnetic beings, whether you like it or not, we are. Or we wouldn't be having gravity to hold us onto Earth. So when we feel disassociated between our roots and our divine tops, We hum, because humming is like oming, om. That's why they om in meditations, because that om is a vibrational pattern that comes strictly from our brain, goes all the way down into our roots, and it realigns our chakras and it realigns us to get energy. So yes, I teach a vibrational music course for letting frequencies vibrate, the waves. We lay on our back with our feet up, and I allow those waves to pulsate, and then we draw on a little body. How does that make you feel? Where do you feel? And it's amazing because those waves through our feet, you'll be able to pinpoint on our body. Ooh, I feel it here. Ooh, I feel it right there. And so we mark it. Why? Because those frequency levels of our body, as from our feet to our head, has different frequencies, and we can pinpoint those frequencies, and then we can heal it.
We're going to have to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with the rest of the conversation.
Another regular day, nobody knows. It's that time, he's coming home to them from a foreign land. He pulls up, his mama cries, looks at daddy with tears in his eyes and says, nothing feels better than this. Couple of months go by and no one sees. Something just ain't right, only wants his peace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free and put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again. He gets help, but he still feels off. Sees an ad on the TV about a dog bad and said, this is a man's best friend. Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. But he's finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again. Whoa, whoa. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again.
Hi, welcome back to Tracer Rounds and my special guest MJ. We're live from her studio in her home in Florida. I'm remote this week, so I'm asking her a few questions about her business. First of all, and one of the things that we kind of talked about on our break was how do you flip something that's very like hard to take, like like something upsetting, something that's really difficult to manage, like your emotions kind of get away with you in those instances. And she had a couple suggestions, and I'd like for her to kind of talk about what we talked about and kind of give you some information on that.
So for the people who are listening on the radio and not actually being able to see, there's something here called a thymus. And I want everybody out there, if you're seeing it. So you have a little dimple, right, where your voice is. And then you have this hard little plate. And I want you to come down a little bit and then tap. It's hollow. It has no nerve ending. It has nothing. Okay, it's called a thymus. What that thymus does is that thymus takes the theoretical side and the spiritual side of the brain and it splits it. That's where our ego, superego, and id lie. So when we tap it and we breathe deep, hold it, it'll be amazing. And then speak. I want you to speak by tapping. Don't speak. If something triggers us to get angry, the first thing we need to do is tame our ego and our judgment. This is the quickest way. The other way that you can do it, if you don't feel comfortable with tapping, but this one will get really quick, is another trick. We're going to trick the ego. So if somebody says something nasty and I get angry with that message that they're giving me and I want to fly off, or my vets or anybody who has a trauma past that has a trigger and all of a sudden you're in it, okay, smile, right? Because your ego is going to go, this is not a smiling condition. And your brain thinks to itself because we were taught to use our brains. So when you're angry, smile. And what will end up happening is if you stay smiling and force the smile, you're going to start giggling. And people are going to be, oh, you're giggling. I'm like, no, I'm just smiling. And it calms it down.
All right, I got a question for you.
This one really works.
Yeah, go ahead.
Doing that, it's like when I have my flashbacks or anything like that, I'm in a whole nother place. So how do you know and get in your own psyche to know to calm yourself enough to do that if you're out of sorts?
It's condition and practice, and you know the trigger that puts you there. Most people who are in the event of either a PTSD or some tragedy or some trauma in their life, you know these triggers. You know what's triggering you, and you feel it. You feel it within the heart. You feel it within the head coming. The minute you start feeling those little tingles, those little vibrations of those neurons, nope. Nope, everything is good. I am in the place where I need to be. Father, Mother, God, I am in the place where I need to be. I am love. I am kind. I am joy. I am understanding. I am balance. I am the angel that I am. I am that Christ light. The minute, the second, even if it's like, oh, no, I didn't really need it. Doesn't matter. I can sit here and tap all day and it makes you tell the truth. When my kids grew up, but I hope they're not listening. But when my kids grew up, I made them tap to talk to me, because we all know by the time you get to 13 and that adolescent stage, right? Even children, you don't have to be a PTS trauma. You know, they're conditioned to speak how, as a parent, you want, oh, I'm going to tell them this, right? So, of course, mom got smart and mom's like, oh, really? I go, you going to what? And then for some reason, my gut was like, I want you to tap and talk. Just tap and talk. It forces the body and the ego not to lie. Wow. It has to tell the truth, because your brain works together, and this nerve, right, runs right through it. And that's what that thymus. You can tap it as hard as you want. When I get angry, you should see me. I'm like, ah! Never turns black and blue. It never hurts. It's just hollow. It's hollow sounding. And I'm like, tap and talk, baby girl. Tap and talk, right? Tell me where you're going. What are you doing? And you watch. If you have children out there, they'll be like, I'm going to the party. And you're like, really? What party? And they'll struggle. So I have it as a common practice. So when people I know fabricate and I don't believe them, I say, can you do me a favor and just breathe, tap, and talk, right? It works the same with our anger, our resentment, and everything else. It works the same. Breathe, tap, and talk, or smile. Smile at it, because your ego then and your judgment is going to go, inside, which just ignore it. Nope, I'm smiling. This is a good time. I don't need to be angry. I don't need to be angry. Nobody needs to be angry. And then it gets further into psychologies or therapies. When we get angry, it's facing ourselves. That means we've allowed this energy to filtrate us. We've allowed that energy to pass our boundaries. I have a brain fart, but there's an old movie. Fallacy and Prophecy. Anyway, I'll get the name. Then you can type it up. Anyway, there's an old movie that says, when you're in chaos, you remain calm. And the negatives go around you. That's what I teach. Calm. How do we get to calm? Well, we have to find the triggers, and we have to find how those little things feel. They feel tingly in our ears, on the top of our head, in our throat, where do we feel them? Well, before we get angry. And the conscious mind has to cough it up by tapping. Where do we feel that? Where do you feel it? Okay, the minute you feel it, you're tapping and smiling. Tapping and smile. Breathe out your nose. Breathe in. I'm telling you, it's the best thing. You should see all my customers, my patients, like, okay, I'm not going to get angry with that comment. I said, no, don't. That means you've accepted. And if you can't fight through it, then we write it down. And now we find, where's the roots of that trauma? Where is it? And we pull them right out. And we're like, you're here. You're safe, right? Yeah. I understand it's a memory, but you can't change the past. Right. So we can't dwell on that past either. We have to move forward in a what? Conscious, positive thinking. And we have the ability. Exactly. We have the ability to change that within all of us. I don't care if you're man, female. I don't care. You have it. You just haven't been trained and conditioned to use it. And let me tell every one of my beautiful vets and military out there, you have been trained and conditioned from day one. I've heard some of these people in these radios, and they're like, we were told to do stuff, right? You didn't really feel good about it. And I get that, right? Because they took your free will. They took your will away. So your parents are conditioned you the way our society conditions, the way bullies in school conditioned. We are conditioned beings that we don't have to be. That's ego and judgment. And I refuse to live by anybody else's rules. They're my rules now. I get to be happy. And I tap and breathe. I just tap and breathe it.
Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Our time's just about up. We've got about a minute left. But I just want to thank everybody for coming on and asking questions. And I want to thank my special guest, MJ, for hosting me in her home and for coming on my show tonight. And thank her for her hospitality as well. So if you want to tune in again next week, I hope you will.
Please
We're
do.
on at 7 Eastern and 6 Central. So join MJ's show. What time is your show?
Mondays at 10 a.m.
Mondays at 10 a.m. and mine's on Tuesdays at 7 Eastern or 6.
Right now, anyway, right?
Right now.
Right, for now.
All right. So thank you. We're going to put up the closing comments, but thank you for joining us tonight.
Many blessings. Namaste.
That's the show for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new show. And remember, you can listen to us again and again. The podcast of this radio show is available right after we go off the air tonight, anywhere that you can get your podcast episodes. And thanks for joining us today. I'd like to take a moment to talk about something close to my heart. Military Broadcast Radio is doing incredible work to support our veterans and bring their voices to the world. They rely on your generous donations and your dedicated volunteer hours to make it happen. I encourage you to consider supporting NBR in any way, form that you can. Use this QR code that's attached to the picture, or you can go to our website at mbradio.us. That's MikeBravoRadio.us to learn more about how you can donate or volunteer even just an hour a week
from your home help make a difference in the lives of our veterans. Because once again, we're